this is our initial Onboarders Program briefing. We'll start with a little bit of uShop.market introduction, then you can understand what uShop.market is. Then we will explain the scope for today, how the commissions work, and various resources that you can actually use to help you in this particular program. Yeah. So briefly, first uShop.market. I don't know whether you have the chance to visit the website, but let me quickly show. So we're actually a platform that lists various sellers that tend to be overlooked by common shoppers who maybe just go to the shopping malls and buy through common brands. So it's a site where it helps people discover new products that are actually around in your neighborhood, and you can actually get the products delivered even today. The next important thing is that this is a delivery integrated platform that when you shop online, right, you can actually choose when you receive instead of just passively wait for like the platform to tell you, hey, maybe you'll receive in 3 to 5 days. So this is the next key function for shoppers as well as for sellers and businesses, is that when shoppers actually check out, they can choose very comprehensive integrated delivery. That includes like same day delivery, you can choose a time slot, scheduled delivery, which you can choose the date and time slot, as well as the common ones that you tend to know, which is like instant delivery or like scheduled hourly, okay? Yep. So to sellers, right, this is actually a tool where we are trying to build a digital twin for them when they can actually reach out to island-wide with delivery integrations, payment solutions all integrated, and there's no need to actually have any more subscription fees. I don't know whether you have tried to sell things online before. Have you?
Yes.
Okay, so like kind of like which are the platforms or like tools that you actually use?
I use eBay, Carousel, Facebook.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, so these are like marketplaces which are depending on like your social networks, right? But more common tools like you see Shopify or like Squarespace. Typically, if you try to build your own website to sell things, there's actually a subscription fee that's involved. So most businesses actually use Shopify, and it actually costs $39 to just have like a simple listing, so that the products can actually be viewed and browsed online. But for uShop.market, other than the delivery is already integrated for like businesses. Okay, you see you sell on Carousel, and if somebody tries to buy something from you, even though the deal is actually locked in, you realize you'll be left with a lot of administrative effort to actually find logistics. Like, hey, actually, if I have no time to meet this person, and imagine if you're a business, you have so many orders to fulfill, you can't be manually calling up for delivery or like going down to deliver yourself, right? Yeah. So for uShop.market, other than no subscription fees wise, delivery is already integrated. So once they're actually on this platform, all the coding is already done for them. If they just do a simple listing, their products is actually available island-wide. Okay, and a slight difference from like Grab, Mart, or like Panda Mart is that we are actually not restricted to a 6 km radius. So you'll probably use Grab for GrabFood before, right? You'll notice that you can only see stores that are only 6 km around you. So uShop.market is entirely different. There's no such limitations on distance. When you list your products online, delivery is actually, you reach out to anyone who could possibly buy across the whole of Singapore. So once you set it up, it's easy. All the delivery options that you've seen, almost anything that you run, any sort of business, it will cover the kind of delivery options you probably need. It'll be set up, and the commissions is actually pretty straightforward. So for those who are actually on either Shopee or if they are on like Grab, the commissions are usually very complicated. We don't know whether is it tax included, maybe they tell you it's 30%, and then subsequently your take-home pay is actually less than 30% because there's a certain deduction for tax or certain transaction rates. So on uShop.market, we really want to break this kind of tradition of very unclear and muddy commissions structure, right? When we say it's 5%, it's really a flat out 5% on the transaction fee. So it's very easy to calculate what's the take home amount when they sell through this particular platform. So this is actually a screenshot of like the basic things that when we actually speak to businesses, right, it will actually touch that pain point and they'll be interested to use this as a solution. Okay? Yeah, so that's uShop.market as a solution and a tool for business, but essentially for buyers, it is a shopping site where they can discover new brands, new products, okay, and get it delivered even today. So now I'll move on to like this particular program itself. It's a flexible role because we see that this is really, if you know any contact, if you happen to be speaking to someone during dinner, or you just pass by a certain cafe or a store that you particularly like, you can actually bring them on board now, where they can easily use this very accessible tool, right, to have a digital twin that is not just like a normal website that just lists all their products, but it's already integrated with all the same-day island-wide delivery solutions that will save them all the other hassle of building a really online digital twin where your items, anybody who's interested, once they click buy, there's a delivery that's automatically matched for them. Okay? Yeah. So this is the program, and there's actually two phases of the commission structure. The first one is a very straightforward. It's just if you do happen to speak to, you find a particular legitimate business who is interested to sell island-wide and have a greater reach of their products, then you can refer this particular contact to us, and that would be like the $15. So clearer details is that you do need to fill in this lead form. Later we go through what's required in the lead form, and you email to us to notify that actually, I actually have a referred lead. So for this, it's just you do check they are legitimate, they have interest to go online and have these delivery options, various delivery options. We will actually help to speak to them and do the demo for you. But if you already managed to get the time and then like sort of like introduce this particular tool or like this platform for them, actually you just go a little bit more, then you can just clock in your $50 commissions, where what you need to do is that you sort of like guide them to set up their account and the simple things like their store profile and store operating hours. Yeah, then likewise, you also fill in the lead form and you email to us so that we know that we can clock this commission under yours. Okay, so the terms is you should make sure that they are legitimate business. So by legitimate business, of course, you do check that they have business activities, right? And they have a valid ACRA registration. Okay, yeah. So this is how it's being break down. It's actually two phases. First is if you get into contact with someone that you know, you just refer it to us, that's $15. Then you go a little bit more to help them actually sign up and then complete their store setting, right? That would be like $50. So one thing is actually, we do give you a little bit more of like closing your commissions deal, is that our team can actually help to do a free product listing for them. So for many businesses, right, which listing products requires a lot of labor time and it's very time consuming. So this could be kind of like a little sweetener that you can offer them and say, hey, okay, today, right, all you need to do is you just set up the account, we can bring you through together, and then subsequently there will be a team that can help you list up your products so that it can be live and functional. Then they can take a look at how the site works better with their products online already. Okay, yeah. So for this first phase, if you just stop here, you do need to make sure, you do need to be aware that eventually this business has to be onboarded by us before this $15 is being clocked. So if you do want to make sure, hey, actually I already spend the effort to speak to this particular vendor or seller, right, and I don't want to waste my effort, actually you just help them complete the sign up, you can actually be, it is more secure that you actually do get $50 of your commissions. Okay, yeah. So this is just some ideas of how you can start off. There are ways to find leads either through your own personal network and contacts. Otherwise, there are various channels like, you know, your chat and thread groups, or you can get through certain directories that are interesting, such as maybe there are certain boutique fairs, there are certain sellers there, you can reach out there, as well as the other various pipelines that subsequently I'll send this deck over for you so that you can take a look as an inspiration. Okay, yeah. So now would be some resources of what you can actually use to help you be more aware of what the product is so that you can get your referral on board to clock your commissions. So just two very quick links, right? The first one is actually explaining what uShop.market is to sellers. So this is a website online. If you go to uShop.market, you click on like the more FAQ. It's under here, this particular link, which is called Why uShop Solutions. So on Why uShop Solutions, you should spend some time to take a look. Typically, these are like the common things that I went through just now, which is pain points of running a business and having to sell things online, these are the kind of like problems that many businesses face, and what uShop.market can actually step in to plug this particular gap. Yeah. Then the key thing obviously is that the delivery options are already integrated within. So for sellers, right, they don't have to have a separate administration to like, oh, when an order comes in, I need to call for logistics. And it wouldn't be a case where okay, for cake sellers, if you buy a cake online, you realize that when you click checkout, right, the seller actually don't know when you need this cake, but this cake might need to arrive at a particular date and time for the business, for the buyer, right? So in this case, there's no such like more additional rework where the seller need to go and call the buyer, hey, actually when do you require this particular cake? Yeah, so all of this is already stated by the buyer itself before they check out. So there's no more like additional work for the seller to have to call out individually. Okay, so these are some statistics that's pretty interesting. You can take a look and use it for yourself. So this is the first resource, which is available online. The next is there are various FAQ that you can also take a look so that you familiarize with yourself with other operational FAQ that businesses tend to ask, okay? So here we go. So you can take a look at like, okay, what are the commissions rates? What's the delivery options? Over here. Sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. Okay, but typically, right, there are only 4 questions that you might want to familiarize yourself with when we are speaking with like interested friends, businesses. The first one is they will always ask, what is the delivery rate? It's actually a flat $3.45. Okay, later I pass you. It's a flat $3.45. So regardless of distance, it's just $3.45. So sometimes they might ask, hey, actually what's the difference with like if I just call a Lala myself or I call Grab Express? So the difference is that if you just try to call a transport by yourself, you realize that it's actually distance based. So there's no way they can actually control the cost. But on uShop.market, it's a flat $3.45. It's very clear that if they want to do any sort of markup, they just need to be able to cover this $3.45 over on uShop.market. Because it's just a flat rate, $3.45, it won't be a fluctuating distance-based kind of charge. Okay? Yeah. So this is the first thing on delivery rates they tend to ask. The next is there like transaction rate? So on uShop.market, right, we take 5% of the cut out amount, and there won't be any more additional like 19% GST, or like if you're in a particular program, I give you another like 5% off. If you're not, then there's another rate tier. Or if just to set up on your own website, usually there's also a transaction cost of like 3.5% plus 50 cents. So there are many tiers that's very complicated with the current tools available outside. But on uShop.market, you can take a look at how the transaction, it's actually transaction rate is to power the cost of like if you use a credit card, right? The banks are going to just charge a particular rate. So for businesses, they should be very familiar with transaction rates, even if they have a physical store itself. If they have a card reader, a transaction rate actually applies as well. So if we speak about this, you can tell them, actually this is just really, the platform doesn't really earn any commissions if you think about it. It's just to power like the transaction so that their customers have a variety of options that they are very familiar with, and it's very convenient for them to buy and cut something out from their online store. Okay, so it's a flat 5%, nothing complicated from there. And this 5%, if they are GST registered, right, they can actually claim back the GST within, and it would actually be less than 5% itself. Okay, yeah, so these two you can familiarize yourself with. Shipment settings wise, these are all the shipments available for them, and it's just a toggle of an on-off of whether they want to offer it or they don't want to. I think the last question that tends to be a bit more frequent would be, hey, so actually is this just another Grab or is this just another Shopee or Lazada? So there are very slight nuances difference. Okay, they're not slight nuances difference, there are differences that you can take a look over here. We've prepared this for you. So these are like the details of how uShop.market is different from if I just list on Shopee and Lazada, or if I use like this kind of instant GrabMart, PandaMart, or if I build my own website. So you can quickly take a look at this so you can familiarize yourself with some other tools that maybe businesses might have questioned with, like, hey, if they ask you, so what's the difference with like Grab? Then you can answer very quickly, okay, this is really island-wide kind of scope. For Grab, they cover you by 6 km. Anything more that you want to go, you need to pay like a subscription fee of like almost like $100 to $289 a month per store. Okay, yeah, so take a look at this. This might be helpful for understanding. Not all sellers will ask, okay? Yeah, but it's just for good that you actually know since you're referring them. Okay, the last thing is we have also prepared a few messages that you can take as a starting template since you are very new to like the particular uShop.market. So these are some messages template. You take a look that you can use, or you can probably use this as like a base and write something that might be more convincing or more customized to who you are speaking to. So this is a message, and we also have this.
Sorry, the links will be sent to me after the.
No, so this is your only chance. No kidding. Yes, we will prepare this for you.
Okay.
So you do have the message as a template, but sometimes when we email out to invite people on board, right, we also include this particular image. Because, you know, when you DM or you WhatsApp, right, there's a limitation to the things that you can send. But email is a bit more flexible. So for email, there's also this image that we would just clip it out and we just attach and say, okay, very simply, this is how it could solve your problem of like you're not limited to just selling where your store is, or that if you want to bring online and then you just always handling all these logistics, now no need to. There's an integrated platform. Okay? Yeah. So last thing is, these are very important resources. We have actually set up a demo for you. This is not the actual uShop.market product, but to help you actually familiarize with how a seller dashboard would be, you could actually use this login to first take a look. So let's take a look at it together first, okay? So this is actually the seller's dashboard account. If you take a look, this is how they usually will set up their store. So what we need them to do, or for you to earn your $50, right, is just two very important things, which is the shop and the shipment setting. So under the shop, they just need to set up their shop profile, which is just a quick write-up. And you see, okay, this is just a sample. It's actually a very customizable and yet very easy to use website substitute, where they can put in images, they can put in links, they can put in text, and we fill in this. So the shop profile is set up and their shipment settings. By shipment settings, I think the stores should be familiar with this. Essentially, it is when are the dates that my store is actually operating, so that I can fulfill their orders. So if they are open like Monday to Sundays, they just need to toggle. Okay, it's just a quick toggle. Or if they are actually closed on Wednesday and they can't, they toggle Wednesday off so that orders won't come in on Wednesdays. So if you think about like the other tools that you might heard of, like if Grab, right? There's no such function where they can switch off. So orders might accidentally come in and there will be disappointment by the customers. So this one, straight up, it's just an on-off. It's pretty easy to set. There's no coding required. Same with all of the delivery options. There's no need to actually call in, dial in, and say, hey, I want to integrate this particular player as my delivery agent. How do I do this API engineering work? No need. It's just, I can offer same day. I already have stocks. I just toggle on and off. And the time slot, if my store opens only until evening, like my factory opens until just 6 p.m. These are the collection windows. So if my store opens until 6 p.m, I just toggle this two on and I can just toggle this off. Okay, but if I'm usually like more beverage, alcohol kind of companies, they tend to start later. They start at 12 p.m. and they close very late at 12 a.m. Then you can just toggle on and off like this. So depending on what is the store's operating hours, they just need to start. They just need to just click, by a click of a button, right? Delivery is already matched up for them by setting all these options. Alright? Okay, so this is the demo account that you can use this to either demonstrate to people who are interested, or at the start just use it for yourself to understand how the platform works. Is that good? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, if that's good, I think that the most important part is we should also know who are the companies that you have actually referred to or onboarded. So this is the lead form that you fill in for us, okay? So the questions that we typically need is, okay, so I've actually pasted this image here in case you do need it for your, if anybody asks you anything, then you can actually use this image over here. Okay, most important thing is you write your name or the email that we are liaising with, then the rest is just the companies that you have referred. It is to also help you make sure that this is kind of like a legitimate business, so that we can actually give you your commissions, okay? So you fill in what's the company name, briefly what's the products that they are offering, then the company email and the contact number, then if there's a, and hopefully maybe they have a website, maybe they have an Insta, you put the Insta link here. If they have a website, you put the website link here. Then next is, have you actually onboarded this particular company, or no, this is just the initial reference lead, you'll pass it over to us. If we manage to onboard them, you get your $15. So you do you just choose which one is the kind of leads that you're passing, handing it over to us. Then lastly is, if it's just a lead referral, then you also speak with them and you fix and say, hey, okay, which time would be preferred? So you put the date and then the time of a good time that we can pass them like a video call link, so that we can actually show them more about what is this platform, how they can use it for their business operations. Yeah, then you submit it. When you click submit, it will actually prompt you again that you need to send your submission to this particular email. Okay, most important thing is you must tell us that. Okay, so this is the email. After you have done your submission, you just quickly email over and say, hi, like this is the company name that we have referred to onboard onto uShop.market.
So every time I manage to onboard a particular company or business, so I have to fill up the form, right?
Correct. Or like if it's
And
one
then-
day.
And then I have to send it over to your email?
Correct, to this email. So, but you can actually do it at the end of the day. So maybe you have 10 referrals that you have garnered interest in, you just want a short fill up, and then you submit the form and you let us know that there's this 15 companies lah. So we can also do a double check that these companies are referred to you. Or like in one day you have onboarded two companies, yeah, then at the end of the day, you just send one email, but you fill out the form twice for the two companies that you have onboarded. Something along that line. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the last thing is just let you know that we are also offering this particular quick service that businesses will be able to access through their uShop seller account very soon. So over in their merchant dashboard, right? Over at shop profile, they'll be able to download this particular standee very soon to let their customers know that, hey, actually next time, if my store is in Punggol, and then you happen to be in Jurong West, next time we can actually order it online, and this is the particular uShop store for them and their QR. So this is a new feature that's coming soon. You can let them know. So with that, before you ask any questions, we have some questions that you might want to ask lah. Okay, so the first one is, remember there's two tiers, right? The $15 and the $50 one. So if you actually referred a particular contact over to us and eventually they actually don't onboard, right, then we won't be able to help you clock the $15. So we do recommend that if you have already spoken to them kind of and they have a sort of interest, and they are legitimate business that do want to sell their products, the best is if you actually bring them through to the end of it, so that they are like, you can lock it in that they have signed up and onboard onto uShop.market. Okay, and after they sign up, you can pass the contact over. We actually offer for them and for you, you can offer to them the free product listing up to 50 products. So this is the next question, is that, okay, do I have to be the one that actually help them do the product listing before I can clock my $50 commissions? So the answer is no. You just need to refer it over. We will give you assistance to like help the companies that you've referred, right, list their products. Okay, then the last is this like a base pay kind of like a position? It wouldn't be. It's actually a commission basis of based on the number of referrals or the number of successfully onboarded sellers. Okay, so most legitimate business, typically there will be no qualms of like whether they want to sell online and have something that's already integrated for them, so that they just need to click OK. So if we actually put in some effort in reaching out and to just get them understand a little bit of how this complements their Shopee and their Grab, you should be able to get your pipeline going. Okay.
Okay.
So I think the next step from here. Okay, let me end the share screen. So the next step from here is probably to go back to this demo account, and you toggle around to understand how easy it is to use. Okay, it is really not that complicated. You saw that it's just a toggle of a button. So once you are kind of like, you can understand, okay, it's just pretty much already integrated, no coding required, then the next would be reading this particular site that explains uShop.market as a tool for sellers. Then you can start your ways to build your pipeline. So some other ways is that you can also build, like, you can write blogs or certain content that help you feed this kind of pipelines to you more passively as well. So these are like more active ways of, like, if you do have spare time, if you have, like, you're studying now in NTU, right? So if there are certain good businesses there that you do know,